Thriving Thursday. There we go. Yes. Good evening. I should say good day, good morning. I think I heard today just say good day, but we're working with people around the world, so it could be good evening, good morning, and also good night for some if you're on the other side. But good day to everyone, and thank you for joining us on Thriving Thursday Live. And so we're going to get started here. We want you to continue to follow us on social media, all those different platforms out there, and we're trying to grow this community, so please share the information in on your what's that,
Social media. Yes.
YouTube. Subscribe. You can also hit that notification bell, so whenever we go live, doesn't matter what event that we have, when we go live, you'll get a notification that we're live, and at that time we want you to click over and share the information and share the live information and events that we have. And so we're going to talk about some events that are upcoming, and also we're going to talk about event that we had this week. And so we're going to talk some event, and we're going to actually touch on the subject topic. The topic this evening is going to be short-term versus long-term savings goals. And of course, that is something that we are a big advocate of. You do your savings, and of course, it's going to prevent you from hopefully taking out a lot of loans and getting into debt. All right. So again, welcome this evening, and I want to like to bring Charlene in here. And Charlene, go ahead and welcome our audience.
All right. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for our Thriving Thursday as we get into a great conversation, as Larry stated, short and long term goals. And so, before we get to our topic tonight, I'd like to tell you or talk about our inception, the services that we provide, where we provide those services, because each week, guys, we have new audience members, so people who do not know about First Home Alliance. And so it's always important to outreach to our community. So with that being said, let me tell you a little bit about us. We are a HUD approved housing counseling agency established in 2002 by our president and founder. The inception came from his mother purchased her first home at the age of 65, and so that was a big deal. So after serving his country, he decided to create a job that would allow him to serve his community. And so, what do we offer? First Home Alliance offers pre-purchase counseling as well as education. Also, we also debt and budget management, rental counseling. I want to go back to the loss mitigation services. So if you're experiencing a hardship, First Home Alliance acts as an advocate on your behalf to allow you or help you be able to sustain home ownership. Our main number one goal is to make sure that you and your family do not experience foreclosure. So again, the services that First Home Alliance provides: pre-purchase counseling, education. Our Thriving Thursday falls underneath that education, loss mitigation services, as well as debt, budget management, and rental counseling. Now, where are these services? Y'all, we're everywhere. We are everywhere. Our main office is in Woodbridge. We are also located in Maryland as well as the south side of Chicago. But again, that means nothing to us because of our virtual services wherever you are located. If anything that I just discussed piques your interest, or someone that you know may be able to utilize these services, that we want you to listen towards the end of our program so we can tell you how you can get in contact with us. With that being said, I will throw it back to our host, Mr. Larry.
All right. So, Charlene, we're going to get into this discussion tonight, and so it's about the long-term and short-term savings. And we have, of course, we have quite a bit of uh, clients that we speak to on a daily basis, and we also talk to our community partners that are speaking with their clients, their friends, their coworkers. Matter of fact, today we had a group of one of the major banks. They had a meeting today and talking about their different loan products. And there's a lot of different loan products out there that for homeowners. And actually, I had to prepare for a 3-minute speak, and I was like, and I went through some coaching, to in reference to getting this speak together, and it was centered around what the services that First Home Alliance provide and all the different things that we provide. But when it started, the name is First Home Alliance, and so if I had to come up with something, which I did, come up with something that really really, what have I learned? If I had, this is what I discovered through this 20 years of providing this service. And when it comes to First Home Alliance, maybe I didn't know at the beginning of this journey, but what have I learned over this 20-year journey? Well, I would say one of the things that I've learned, which I'm telling you, you can be in it. You can be in it and still not know exactly. You would learn when you go back and look at maybe a portion of a chapter in your life. Well, before I get to what I've learned in 20 years of First Home Alliance, I would say since I've been with First Home Alliance, what I learned about the military that I didn't know while I was in it. And I'm quite sure there's many of our military members out there, whether you're reservist, active duty, that you may not know the definition of a veteran. That can you believe that I'm serving in uniform for over 24 years, get out of the uniform, and then I really didn't know the definition of a veteran. Well, actually, I didn't really understand and fully understand the definition of a veteran until actually we started working with one of our partners, which is VA Rep, and where we had to explain that, and also listening to our lenders, basically said, this is what qualifies for a veteran. This is what qualifies for a veteran. And of course, you have the reservists and National Guard and things like that. Throw a little curveball in there in reference to your veteran. But I did learn what its definition for a veteran. That was after starting First Home Alliance and serving over 20 years in the military. I won't tell you. I won't go through the definition.
I was going to say, tell our audience, because now I'm like, what is it?
Because there's things in reference to the National Guard and reservists and qualified time and things of that sort that I can't really explain exactly. However, for active duty, that you actually consider it depends on a veteran for what benefits. And if you're talking about the housing benefit, which is more defined, it's 180 days on active duty. However, the veteran can be defined if you are served in basically during a wartime and accredited for that time in service. That could be less than 180 days. Or you could actually be exited from the service for other reasons that will be less than 180 days, such as injury, such as medical, such as discharge. And so you get into a lot of different specifics in reference to the veteran. But I'll tell you, it's more complicated than what I thought. I thought that a veteran basically retired out of the military or served in combat. That's what the answer I gave. For a long period of time, served in combat, or you actually retired. But actually, you don't have to retire. You serve, and actually, if you have honorable discharge, honorable discharge is one of the definitions that will actually qualify you as a veteran. I say that, but you can get veteran status without being discharged as well. You can still be serving, and you served over 180 days. Or you have served in combat. So that's why I'm saying there's a lot of different ends and ors for it. But what I originally thought was a veteran was very limited to the number of veterans. And so, again, over 20 years to understand that was my limited understanding what a veteran was. And so, has changed. In reference to home ownership, what I've learned in reference to the barriers of homeownership, I learned that there's actually two major barriers. And so if I say the barriers to homeownership, we can go through the plethora, a whole list of reasons and why and what makes it so hard for a purchase to purchase. And we could list out 100 different items. But really, there's two major things, and they fall up under those two major things. One is down payment. Down payment, basically down payment and savings, down payment and closing costs. That is one of the major barriers for home ownership. Because actually, if you don't finance a home when you purchase, you buy it outright with cash. And so if you pay cash for the home, you don't need money for down payment. You don't have to qualify for a program. So because the cost of a home is so huge for most people, and it's the most expensive investment for most of us. Well, You have to use a program, whether that's a conventional loan, FHA loan, or some other type of loan product that can help you get into the home. These different loan products are basically set up for first-time home buyers. And
Mhm.
so for first-time home buyers, and only first-time home buyer, you have to fit the definition of first-time home buyer to qualify for a lot of the programs. And so what those programs do is allow you to get in without putting a lot of money down. And
Mhm.
so rather than paying cash, you want to use a loan product, you need down payment. And so that is the major barrier to home ownership, is coming up with the money down, either the 100%, the 20%, the 5%, the 1%, whatever. That is one of the major barriers, because if you can get into a home without putting any money down, is similar to renting. Again, you qualify for a program, but similar to renting, or basically renting with no security deposit. You just walk in, you pay your month's rent, and you stay. Pay your month's rent, and you stay. Then, if homeownership is not that easy, you have to make an investment. That is your down payment and closing costs, and that is one of the major barriers. And so, that second barrier is credit. And
Yes.
because if you're looking for those programs that's going to help you, that's going to allow you the money, or to secure that loan over the period of time, 15 years, 20 years, or longer, 30 years. And so you need to have credit. And so credit is the second barrier. So the main two barriers to prevent for home ownership is credit and down payment. And so that leads over a bit to the topic tonight in reference to savings. Now, savings is something that's well needed. Now, some may say you don't have to have it, but I'm telling you, if you want a stable situation, then savings pays a large benefit in reference to having a good savings plan, and also setting those savings goals. Uh, Charlene, talk to us about we talk about short term, long term. Talk to us about some short term saving goals.
Some short term savings goal, an example, I would say maybe a transportation. These days, you can find vehicles, something under $4,000 or $5,000 that would be considered a short term. Appliances, oh my goodness, that definitely would be, possibly a short term, for the simple fact that they now make these appliances with the expiration date on them that they didn't back in the day. Remember those green appliances, Larry, and the yellow ones, the mustard color ones
Mm-hmm.
that last forever? Well, we don't have that anymore. So I'd say an appliance could be considered a short term savings goal as well. Let's see, what else could be considered these days? Oh, yes and no, because I'm a person, y'all, that I don't mind buying stuff used, but I'd say furniture. That is definitely not something that I would recommend financing. That I would think you should put aside a short-term goal to be able to possibly purchase that furniture for that new home. That's also considered a short-term goal.
Yes. Yeah. And so, have you worked with some clients maybe that had a short term goal, and what it was and how they was able to attain
Achieve.
that?
Yes. So we currently have a client that is in pre-purchase counseling, and her short-term goal, which she's been knocking it out the park. I mean, every month when we meet, she's hit that goal. And her short-term goal was to reduce her debt. Okay, so she wanted to get a specific debt that she had down to basically nothing before she transitioned into home ownership. And so each month, her goal, sometimes it ranges for $100, sometimes it's $200. The debt started out when we first started about 7 months ago. I want to say it was like close to 6,000 when I met with her last week. It is now at 2,300. And so that's showing how the short-term goals, sometimes we think we don't need them, but establishing them and hitting them, how it took that large debt, close to 7 grand. Now she's, looking at less, about $2,300 in a 7 month time frame. So I definitely think, short-term goals in reference to our credit. because I think, especially when we talk about credit, guys, it's overwhelming. Ooh, Larry told me this so many years ago. He told me a lot of stuff, and I always quote him on some things. But he used to say, "How do you eat an elephant?" And I used to look at him like, "Who eating an elephant, Larry?" You know, I don't want no elephant meat. But he explained to me. He said, "Charlene, how do you eat an elephant?" And of course, I'm like, "I don't know." And he's like, "One bite at a time." So when I think about short-term goals, I think about, putting it hand in hand with that whole thing. How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? So short-term goals, establishing that goal, whether it be towards our debt, whether it be appliances or what have you, and just taking it bit by bit to get to the overall long-term goal.
Yes, yes. I was just thinking of if I had a story in reference to a short term. Well, I have a couple. I'll tell you one that because of course I went through that debt thing. So, and I know, and I still struggle with some long term debt, uh, but uh, time periods that you're able to recover and actually get out of debt, and you can actually set that goal. And you understand that avalanche and the snowball method and things of that sort to savings. But and so you can set aside money, so to tackle particular debt, or you can set aside money. And when I say debt, pay it off in 12 months, pay it off in 3 years or 5 years. So just like you're saving to actually make a purchase, you can also save to actually conquer debt. So one of the it was basically a way of I had to accumulate a loan, which was a debt, and
Mm-hmm.
also to liquidate or pay off debt. And now this amount was very close to 30. I think it was 30,000. If it wasn't 30,000, it was definitely 20. And this was that's the amount of debt that I had. And I figured that I could pay that. I think it was 20,000. I could pay it off within 1 year. And so what was happening during that time, I was deploying to a certain area, and knowing that while I was deploying in the area, there was going to be a increase in pay, which is combat pay and hazardous duty and things of that sort. But not only that, I was going to be tax exempt while
Mm-hmm.
in the zone. And so by knowing I had this coming up with an increase of money over a period of time, I could sacrifice. And actually, where I was being deployed, I couldn't drink alcohol. you know,
Oh,
I was saying about going to happy hour. There was no happy hour.
wait a minute.
Yeah,
That cut the budget right there. You
that
say
was that
what?
was good.
15 grand right there.
Yeah, shopping. I mean, you can shop if you want, but what are you gonna? Everything you accumulate, you got to pack it up and bring it back with you. So, it was not a whole lot of online and shopping and things like that at that time. So I was able to take on this amount of debt. I think it was like 20,000. Take $20,000, pay off all the debt that I had accumulated, and then pay back the 20,000 within a year. And so I took on that challenge. It may seem like that 20,000 in a year was a lot, but being able to sacrifice, that it was nearly $2,000, I think, a month or so, 1,800, $2,000 of that. And that was probably at the time, it was a significant amount of the money that I brought home. And so being able to set that aside and pay that loan off in 12 months. And so that was an experience, and I was able to do that. And because I could foresee in the next 12 months where I would be, the increase of income, and why not spending that, I could have put it in savings, but I also and it was a savings because it was not only was able to pay off those debts that I had, but also save so much in reference to interest rates that I was paying on the different loans. So
Mhm.
within that, there was an automobile loan and a whole credit cards and some other things that was rolled up into that debt amount. I was able to liquidate that within 12-month loan that I took to pay the debt off, and then sacrifice the money to pay that loan off within 12 months as well. And so that's the way I did it. I mean, of course, I could have did it on of an avalanche method or snowball method as well, taking the $2,000 every month and applying it to the debt. That is one way of doing it, but I did it a different way, took out the loan and then repaid the loan. So, you know, but anyway, that's a short-term debt that was paid off in a short amount of time, and there was a big benefit at the end of that. And so that's my experience, personal experience with a short-term goal and savings goal to pay off. Uh, now, after accomplishing that, and some other times that I've seen other members accomplish those gains within a short amount of time, whether it's save money to pay off a debt, save money to make a purchase. If you sort of keep that same routine, do not go back to where you now you have that $2,000 a month and you go and start spending that $2,000 a month, where you are able, well, of course, the income reduced a little bit because after 12 months, my situation it went down some, but the sacrifice I was able to make in reference to the longevity of the continuous payment was then be able to move that money into investment, savings and then investments, so that you can maintain that routine. And also, once you realize that you can live without and do without quite a bit of things, you can go further by continuing that trend and not the thing that Charlene keep bringing up. You don't spend everything you make, so that it can also make you be more disciplined in reaching those short-term goals. Okay. Yes. And so that's short term, 12 months. I've seen midterm, I'm going to say midterm, 12 to 3 years, where I've seen, I will use the example of my nephew. He had already, his first car was from the auction, which I'm not sure how long it lasts. It didn't last very long, but it was one of those cars from the auction. You go down and get, less than $2,000 and pay it off. But he wanted a better car. He said, this thing, it keep breaking down, and he was using duct tape on the thing and keeping it together, barely getting it past inspection each year, because here in Virginia, it's an annual thing for inspection. He wanted to step up. I said, well, to step up, it's going to cost you more than $2,000. And so actually, we thought that it would take him maybe 3 to 4 years to save money, because we wanted him, even the next car, not to be a burden where he had to take out a loan for it. And so actually, he was able to accomplish that within about 2 years. I mean, it took him it was 2 good summers where he was actually able to set money aside. In less than 3 years, he was able to accomplish that, where he can go out and purchase a car. So that's just some ideals that I've experienced, short-term savings to accomplish a goal. All right. And so long-term. Now, long-term, we're going to talk about some things long-term. And so long-term, we're talking about those things that take 3 years, 5 years, or even longer. And so, Charlie, you want to give us some examples of long-term, and maybe you have something to share with us?
Long term. So as Larry stated, long term is anything that would take you, 3 to 5 years or longer to be able to achieve the goal. And so some examples of that, as we started in our Thriving Thursday, what did we say? Purchasing. The two major factors that sometimes hinder people with being able to move forward and transition into home ownership is that down payment, the closing costs. I'd say another long-term goal, especially me, having children or whatever, is their education. That could be considered, or a parent would consider that as a long-term goal, because you want your child to get the education, but you don't want necessarily them to have that burden of repaying that debt, once they get out. And so I would say college could be considered as a long-term goal. Or when we talk about transportation, I'm the type of person that it's no big deal for me, the type of car, but some people really, and I find this too, Larry, when people get a certain age, they say, I always wanted this particular type of car. And sometimes it's a luxury car, right? And so that really could be, we put that in that category of long-term, because we said the bucket, we put that in there as short term, because we know, if we get a good 6 to 12 months out of it and we only pay $1,500 for it, then that's a real good deal. But if you're saying, like, all my life, my spouse, his favorite car, I want to say it's a Charger, but I don't know if it's a 1970. It's one of those old, you know what I'm saying? I want to say it might have been
Oh,
the
it's collectibles. They don't make anymore, right?
right. So I could say that a person would, use that like it's a collectible type of vehicle. It's something that I
Mhm.
always wanted. I always imagined myself having it. Now I'm getting ready to retire and I'm gonna treat myself. So yeah, that transportation could be considered, fall underneath that long term. But I think the real big one is definitely purchasing. I worked at First Home Alliance for, I don't know, it was 13. I think I've been there 13 years or something like that before I purchased. And that was one of my things why I hadn't purchased, because I really thought like, okay, going into this, I need to have this specific amount of money. So I think it was in like 2012 where I said, okay, I'm going to move forward with this. And I purchased in 2018. So that was really 6 years of me really, taking the extra money when I was able to get a raise or something of that nature and setting it aside. So I definitely believe that home ownership falls underneath that long term education. And I'm gonna put, what else I'm gonna put in there? Children. Children fall
Oh
underneath
yeah.
long term savings goal. My oldest is 22, and still now mom still has to help, with certain things. So Larry, I'm gonna put kids underneath that long term. I really am.
Yeah. Well, that's I don't know. That's I guess long term you have to make sure that you're able, and it's good that you are are able to do that.
Mhm.
Yes, but I think yeah, I think for all individuals that having at one time you think that you have a child and they turn 18 and that was it, they're out the door. You may have a wedding expense or something like that, get the wedding, but now it's the wedding, then wedding may not come to another 18 years. And
Mhm.
so from 18 to whatever time, you have college that you may have to help out with the college expense, and whether they still living with you or they're on their own, you have to. I mean, you should be prepared, and that you can, if you're able to assist. And so, but yes, that can be a plan. That can be a plan. It's a long-term planning. So sustain yourself, get ready for it. But yes, and so that's a part of your long-term. That's part of your maturity. That's part of your retirement. And so long-term savings for 3 to 5 years, definitely those things after 5 years, it's good to go ahead and set aside for that. And in reference to long term, you do want to start looking at those investments, so you can invest. If it's over a long period of time, you can invest where you're able to monitor certain things. And as your investments start maturing, you look at the dividends that you're getting on those investments, and you can move from maybe something that's less volatile to something that's more stable. And so you want to look at that at the long term, and also when you're saving for long term, you want to ensure that it's not a huge burden on basically your living expense at this period of time, and also ensure that you have emergency savings that are set aside and have that plan working alongside that, so that you don't have to dip into that long term savings. You would be there for the purpose, and you have a good stability, a foundation set up. Yes. So yes, we definitely want to consider both the short-term financial savings goals and also our long-term. Yes. Well, Charlene, we had an event this week that we was partnering there with VA Rep, with some other community partners, have housing counselors there, and also one of our mortgage uh,
Services.
servicers. Yes. Talk to us about that event.
Yes, it was a great event. I think we all, did our huddle, and overall, it was extremely successful. I think they had about 293 participants, I think it was. And so this was an event of individuals who are currently experiencing a hardship with home ownership. And so they were able to speak with different nonprofits and just real quickly kind of talk about their situation and some products and programs that may be able to help them sustain. And so again, it was close to 300 participants, and it ranged, I want to say, from the East Coast all the way to, yeah, it was I would say it was the East Coast, a little bit of the South. We had some people, from Georgia. I want to say Texas as well. So North Carolina, South Carolina. But it allowed individuals to speak directly with the HUD Housing Counseling Agency or a housing counselor, and to really, real quickly talk about their situation, and then get that recommendation of how they can be able to move forward with sustaining home ownership. And then for some, maybe sustaining was not necessarily what they would be able to do, but they definitely discussed making sure that they did not experience foreclosure. And so it was a great event. Anytime I feel like we are able to touch our community and give them resources and give them hope. I will tell you that I definitely felt like we were able to give a lot of people hope who felt like, hey, I'm in a very desperate situation. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to the left or the right. And it was a lot of community organizations, nonprofits that was on there as well. And so my takeaway from it was that I felt like people got good, useful information, good resources, and they're able to follow up with the organizations that they've met with. First Home Alliance have, I don't know, about 30, almost 35, 40 people that we're going to be able to follow up with and give that guidance moving forward to help them prevent foreclosure.
Yes. And so you said that we're not mentioning the mortgage servicer, but it was a particular mortgage servicer that has a lot of, I'm going to say, delinquent loans. And so this message is not only for the homeowners, but also for the mortgage servicers out there, the mortgage companies, the banks, that we are looking for that stability partner, to come in and support what the HUD counseling agencies are doing, to be that advocate, but also to be that person that individuals, homeowners can come to help them navigate through mortgage situation, mortgage challenges. And so I will go back to the study that was done, if I'm not mistaken, from Freddie Mac. This is right after the foreclosure crisis. There's been a survey, just like we did a survey for the people in the military, say, did you receive financial literacy education in the military? And at one point in time, that number was very high. That it would say no, they did not receive financial literacy education. And our definitely home ownership education is still not serviced directly to the military. So there's a big need there. Where Freddie Mac did a study in reference to the individuals that are going through foreclosure, or also mortgage challenges, did they receive first-time home buyer education? Did they receive education? Most of them, over 90% of them, did not receive first-time home buyer education. This is prior to purchasing their home. And so a large percentage of them did never receive that first-time home buyer education. And so we're finding that the education and the literacy in reference to home ownership and financial literacy, it actually prevents challenges and basically being left out, when it comes to being a homeowner and having a challenge in knowing where to go. And so the big thing is not so much of being able to save you from getting in those situations, but knowing the resource that you can go to seek assistance, a third party that is there on your side when you start reaching those challenges. So not only not receiving an education in reference to the studies and reference to individuals that are going through the mortgage situations in the early portion of right after 2008, was what is a housing counselor? They didn't know. Well, they didn't know what a housing counselor was, and didn't know what the services that a housing counselor can provide, or a housing counseling organization. So this is a time to learn more about housing counseling, housing counselors, finding about housing counselor organizations, and also finding out that we are here to be on your side, not only to get you into the home, but also sustain home ownership, basically for life. And so So we're looking for more partners. That's the mortgage partners. We're looking for those partners and understanding that we need resources, we need manpower. So we need that so that we can continue to provide these services. In most cases, individuals are coming to these situations with paying nothing or very little. If these services are covered, the resources are there that is given by the mortgage partners, then we can provide them at minimum cost to homeowners. But even if you pay a fee to receive counseling going through the mitigation or whatever it may take for you to sustain homeownership or prevent the foreclosure, believe me, working with a housing counseling agency is a whole lot less than would be if you go to some other sources where you may get scammed or get overpaid for services that you really probably is cannot guarantee you anything, and we don't guarantee either, but will not provide you any additional service or better service than what you'll get from a housing counsel agency. We have the experience, we have the longevity, and we have the networking partners with mortgage loan services that we can navigate this course with you. So this was an opportunity. I think this may be a trend that we may start to see. It reminds us quite a bit, 15 years ago, with the mortgage clinics, we used to call it. So like a first aid clinic, we put on mortgage clinics where at that time it was mostly one-on-one in person. And so set up at a location, whether it was an hotel or whatever, we have our servicers there, mortgage servicers. So we're asking the servicers, we hope to team with our servicers to be on site with us, whether that's in person or virtual. And the homeowner would be notified that there's an event. So at the event, they would be able to come there. They can meet with a housing counselor, then meet with the mortgage servicer. If they want to talk directly to the mortgage servicer, they can do that. And we'll there provide you and navigate this course with you. And there's so many different options. We're going to teach you on those options, and we'll be some of our financial literacy talks and spills and presentations, or even here on Thursday Night Live, we're going to talk to you about those different options. And so we're going to talk to you. We'll be able to educate you on the different options that you have. Generally, we can tell you on the general source options, navigating the mortgage crisis, mortgage options, but then the servicer can be more specific. So every situation is specific in reference to those things that the servicer and the investor will honor when it comes to your options as well. But we'll be able to navigate that with you through that. And so we want you to go ahead and contact our organization or another HUD approved housing counsel agency so that you can get involved in some of the counseling sessions, get involved in some of the orientations that's going on, and also building that connection, and for us to start advocating on your behalf and also negotiating on your behalf, speaking to that mortgage servicer way before you get to a point where it's sent as a foreclosure. We don't want to wait for that. It's time to start working on that now. Working with your situation now, rather than waiting till you get to those words such as default and foreclosure.
And I definitely think the difference between Larry now and when we were doing the mortgage clinics 15 years ago, I'm not going to say that 15 years ago there wasn't a lot to lose, but really the vast majority of our clientele, remember at that time frame, was upside down, right? Now, now we're not. So I don't come across a lot of short sales right now. I'm not coming across a lot of short sales. So with that being said, there is a lot for some of these families to lose if you wait until you get a sale date to reach out to get an advocate on your behalf. So you were about to say something, Larry, about that?
No. I was just saying it's different reasons. Yeah, that was the what they call the mortgage crisis.
Yes.
So,
we learned. We learned from our mistakes.
Yeah. So you had the type of paper that you had was not the paper for you. You got the wrong one, and so some of them did not have the right mortgage product at that time. Yes, and so yes, but whatever the reason may have been, individuals that are in that situation. Now, it could be COVID, or it could just be the economy, or it could be your own financial situation. Not neither we situation that you say that is totally the individual's fault, and so it's not your fault because the economy or your job has been reduced. It's not your fault because there was a pandemic, and so that's not the case. Trying to find fault. The case what we're trying to do is how we can work through these crises and work to get a workout for you if that is feasible for you.
Right.
And so some workouts are and some are not. But we also help you when I say navigate, sometime, transition to navigate to the next chapter. So we're here to do that. Yes. All right. And one of the big things that the nonprofit has, the Housing Council, we don't have an investment. We don't have a vested interest in reference to a sale of a property. Okay. We're not vested that way. And so we're not getting a commission off the sale of your property. Of course, there's costs for everything, but we don't have that interest here. So this is a third party to advocate for you. We will benefit the same for you to, and also it's, I would say, better credit for us for you to sustain homeownership than to transition out. So we're there.
All we get is a warm and fuzzy feeling, that warm and fuzzy feeling that we were able to help our community. So Larry's 1,000% correct. There's no vested interest in here. It is because we know that we know how foreclosure in itself affects our community. And so when we're able to prevent that, we definitely gonna get that warm and fuzzy feeling, but we know the cause and effect that comes with foreclosure. It doesn't necessarily just affect that family. There's a whole community that is now possibly affected from a family losing their home. So,
yes. And so we need those community partners out there so we can better serve our community. So come in and let us see how we can partner to get to those homeowners. All right. Well, we're going to continue to give you opportunities to come in to partner with us. And so I want to talk about an upcoming event. Charlene, we have an event here. I'm going to change the backdrop here. Do you recall that photo there?
I do. And I've been doing a walking challenge since then, so I've dropped some more pounds. But yes, this was 2023. And that year, our theme was the red, white, and blue. We were honoring our veteran community that year for our gala. And so this year, as you can see behind me and right in front of you, it is going to be a night at Paris. It's going to be November 8th, and that's going to be located in Prince William County. And so I know we do have a lot of supporters all over the place, but we definitely got a good show of supporters in Prince William County that seem to be very happy that the event will be in Prince William County at the Hilton Garden Inn. Again, you see that our networking reception starts at 6 o'clock and the main event itself kicks off at 7:30. Right now, what is First Home Alliance looking for? We're looking for partners. We're looking for supporters, sponsors who would like to get the word out in reference to their business. We want to showcase you. And we also look forward to the support. And so you can always send us an email if you're interested or if you want more information on how you can become a sponsor. Or, as Larry says, you can also meet. I can set up a meeting with you and Larry, so you can really find out a lot more about how First Home Alliance, we can work together in terms of sponsorship as we support our community. But it is an awesome event. We've been having it. How long, Larry? What is this? I don't know what year this is. I feel like we started doing our annual awards gala.
Don't be trying to put me in a bind, try to make me remember a year.
Tell us
how many years was that? Come on now.
I feel like the first time that we had it, 2006. I feel like our first time was in Springfield. Was 2000.
Well, we had it for 2 years and then we stopped. And so 2006 or 7, if I'm not mistaken. And then we stopped and then we started back a few years later, probably around 2014 or so. Yes. But yes. But we've been doing it for a number of years. We celebrated over 20 years in existence, and so this is 2025, and so it's actually 21 years now. They're going on almost 20 to 20, yeah, 21 years. And so this is an annual event, and what we do is come out and celebrate. We celebrate. We have a good time. We like to share our celebration with our community, but at evening. So we're going to have some testimonials there, where we have some of the individuals that we have helped throughout the year. And of course, it's nice to see some families that have maybe overcome some difficulties and come out and share that with you. But also, we have individuals that have become first-time home buyers. And so we will have first-time home buyer story to share with you. And it's really a highlight to hear, to see and hear those testimonials. They're in person. And so to actually, it shows those that have made donations and contributions throughout the year. It shows that your contribution meant a lot, and you see the impact on hand, that the impact of that. But also for our sponsors, our sponsors, our partners, we award, we can't award all of them every year, each time, but we select a few of our community partners, our funders throughout the year. We recognize them as well. And it is really super for them to see firsthand where they have made their investment. And so when you're sponsoring the activities with the nonprofit housing counseling, it's an investment. It's an investment. So local businesses invest by making contributions. They do sponsorships. Matter of fact, on this Thursday night, we would like community partners to come in and help sponsor and put these events on, not only at Thursday nights, but throughout the year. And of course, at the end of the year, we want you to come and then you'll get a chance at these particular events to see what that investment that you made into your community, and we say make the investment into the community and running a business, because the nonprofit is a business. I know we talk about charity and things of that sort, but it is a business. The nonprofit is basically just a tax exempt status that you're not taxed on your earnings, but you have to earn to survive. And so it is a business. And so for local business is an investment. So investing in a service that we can provide. And then when you hear the testimonials, that is the impact. That is the impact of from the services that you was able to help bring the resources together. And then you see the impact in the community. And we're all in this village together, because by keeping home ownership, by allowing the community to thrive, businesses thrive, and so families, and so it's for the good for the whole community. So this event is an event so you can see it all come to fruition and see all portions of that working together. And we want you to come out and celebrate with us. And so for businesses, we want you to go ahead and make an additional investment so that we can really put this show on. But what it's going to do for you is highlight you and your brand, your company. So opportunity for, to start putting your logo out there. So we're going to put the First Home Alliance logo a little bit smaller, and we want to make your logo as large as that we possibly can. We want you to get opportunities so you can brand your businesses, come out and get an advertisement, and also sponsor this event. So there's some sponsorship opportunities out there. And please, you can call me directly. You can email me directly in reference to a partner and sponsoring for this event. We want you to come out and support and show your appreciation for what the organization is doing. So those are opportunities, and please contact us. You can get more information on our website, but you can also call. That's 703-580-8838. Press 0 for help. My extension is 106, I think. 106 if you're interested in making an investment for this event. All right. I want to cover another thing that's going to be happening during that same day, earlier during the day. Now, we are partnering with the American Legion Post 114. That's the Paul W. Mitchell, American Legion Paul W. Mitchell Jr. American Legion 114, which is in Manassas. We had an event this week as well. So I think it was day before yesterday, and we're at City Hall. And so City Hall Manassas, I can't wait to actually make an announcement. I can't make an announcement at this time because it goes through a lot of different channels. But the members of city council is involved. Mayor Younger Davis, she was there at the meeting. Mayor Davis has really supported our veterans. She's I may use the term cheerleader, please don't, but she's leading the efforts for our military and our veterans. She has an advisory council that is something that she stood up with all the service organizations, the American Legion, the DAV, also the VFW, all members there for her council advisory committee. And she has someone on her city council members, a direct link that she's getting information to how the veterans are being taken care of in the city. And she's an advocate for that home ownership, and she's an advocate for that new post home. And so she was our guest speaker last year at this event. And so this is on November the 8th. It's a fundraiser for our veterans. We're still trying to build this new post home along with veteran and workforce housing. This is a huge project, and it's huge for the city of Manassas, but it's also huge for our veterans to have a place that's affordable for them, but also the longevity of this American Legion post that actually is going to survive because it's going to provide housing for our veterans and workforce housing. So come out and support. And there's also opportunity there to make investments for your business to partner with the American Legion for this event as well. So this event was going to take place during the lunch hour. It's going to start at 11:30. From 11:30 to 1, it will be at the Hilton Garden Inn in Woodbridge as well. And so again, contact me, or you can go to the American Legion Post website or on social media for more information on how you can sponsor and partner with the American Legion for November the 8th. All right. That was a long spiel there. Yes. And so we're looking forward to this. Please follow us on social media and check out our website. That's firsthomealliance.org. Now, before we go, Charlene, we have some recent upcoming announcements. What's going on in the next week?
We do. Of course, as always, we want you to join us on Monday at 7:15 a.m. as we stretch with Tiffy, get our financial fitness going, our fitness going on with our financial tips as well. And so again, that's every Monday at 7:15. Our next first-time homebuyers class is going to be on September 20th. That is at the McCourt building, again, in Woodbridge. And so those seats run out pretty quickly. I know a lot of these programs that are out here now, such as the Sparks and some other first-time homebuyer products, requires that you receive education. This class, you will be able to suffice that need, or what do we say? That condition. And so again, that's going to be on September 20th, and that's going to be at the McCourt building located in Woodbridge. And so that is the two events that we have coming up. We'd love to see you guys, of course. Larry?
Okay, Charlene. Well, thanks everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. And we look forward for you to continue to follow us, and go ahead and hit that notification bell. So when we go live on Monday morning, you will be notified. And also we'll look forward to seeing you again on next Thursday.
All right.
That's all we have today. And you'll have a good night.
Have a great night.
Bye-bye.